welcome. Welcome to maximizing the ROI of your reviews. Oh, new session started now. All right. Letting people jump in here, and welcome to the session, maximizing the ROI of your reviews, recruiters, referrals, and reputation. My name is Adam Conrad. I'm the founder and CXO of Great Recruiters. And for those who don't know, Great Recruiters is an experience management and online reputation management platform designed for the staffing firms and for recruiters. And we help lovely folks that I have joined me today to collect real-time reviews on their recruiters, from their clients, from their candidates, from their placed talent, and help them to take that information in operationally, as well as help share it with the world through a host of digital assets to help everybody know that they're doing a great job. I'm joined here today by three of our customers. I was just looking in total between Aaron Grossman's organization, Sarah Toker's, and Rich Smith. They have amassed over 20,000 reviews with nearly a 30% response rate. They've generated over 2,000 reviews and have a combined rating of 4.8. So if there's anybody that we want to talk to about ingraining the review culture into their organization, these are the folks that we want to hear from. So just go around and do some quick introductions. Start with Sarah. Sarah, could you provide a little background on yourself, please?
Absolutely. Thanks, Adam. So I'm Sarah Toker. I am the president of Applin. So we are predominantly a Canadian staffing agency, although we do have one office in the United States as well. So 10 offices across Canada. We do mostly professional staffing, but temp, contract, and direct hire. We are celebrating our 50th anniversary next year.
Congratulations. That's awesome. And following up, Aaron Grossman.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Aaron Grossman. I'm the founder and CEO of a company called Talent Launch. We're a portfolio of staffing and recruitment companies located throughout the United States, providing full service staffing and recruitment across a variety of different verticals. So that's one of my businesses. I also am the chairman of a technology company called Preos Health, where we provide a two-way digital marketplace and hiring automation platform to healthcare staffing agencies. So excited to be here.
Awesome. And Rich Smith, last but not least.
My name is Rich Smith. I'm the co-founder and chief marketing officer of Atlas MedStaff. We're predominantly a travel nursing company. We do some allied as well. Today, actually, is our 12-year anniversary. We've been in business for 12 years now.
Congratulations. That's great.
Congratulations.
And so for those who are listening, whether you are in the IT and engineering staffing vertical, the healthcare vertical, travel nursing, commercial labor, the folks here today touch all of it, either directly or through somebody else. And so, reviews are really a cornerstone of the economy we're in today. And what we're going to be talking about is how these individuals have really maximized the ROI of their reviews in their organization. And we're just going to go through some Q&A and really learn from them what they've done to get the most bang for their buck from their investment in collecting real-time reviews and feedback, how that's impacted their recruiter performance, their referrals, and overall online reputation. So just to start, Sarah, what drove your organization to really start focusing on proactively getting reviews and real-time feedback?
Absolutely. So for us, it was actually bad Google reviews is originally when we'd reached out to Adam just to figure out kind of how we can improve our online reputation. We know that through the negativity bias, it's more common for people to share negative experiences than positive ones. So without actually proactively going out and getting those positive and negative reviews, but proactively getting reviews, it was really targeting our reputation. And in one of our locations, we were as low as 2.3 out of 5 on Google, which we really just knew wasn't reflective of our brand and of our team. So we really needed to come up with a solution to fix that.
And were you surprised once you started getting the reviews and kind of taking control of that? Were you surprised at the amount of positive things people had to say about your organization and your recruiters?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was I think it took us about a month to bring all of our Google reviews across the country up over 4. So it was really, once we started going out there, we were surprised, honestly, by the response rate itself, that, our candidates were very happy to provide feedback. and obviously actual feedback that we were able to use from an organization perspective. But it really, like our ultimate goal that we had set out to achieve in terms of improving our online reputation happened literally in a month.
That's great. That's awesome. And Aaron, when we met, you were using a kind of an annual survey program, kind of an annual NPS. And what drove you to kind of make that switch from doing the annual type surveys to really focusing on getting that real-time feedback and reviews down to your recruiter level?
Well, first and foremost, our mission is to deliver amazing experiences that drive great results. And one of the cornerstones that when we created that mission, one of the cornerstones of that was making sure that, if we're creating a great experience, we want to get that feedback from our customers, whether it's our clients or the talent that we're serving. And, while getting an annual survey is great, it doesn't give us an opportunity to kind of evolve and pivot and optimize that experience throughout the year as you get real-time results. So when we learned about Great Recruiters and what you were doing over there, we thought that was a wonderful fit to help accomplish our mission, because we can get feedback right away and make changes if necessary.
It's funny. I was reflecting on the football games. I'm a Lions guy, and I wish San Francisco didn't do this, but San Fran didn't wait to make adjustments until after the game. They didn't wait to make adjustments until the season was over. They're making adjustments in real time because that's where you're going to have the most impact. So it's like if you're waiting to collect feedback at the end of a quarter, end of a year, and how you're doing, you're missing out on all that opportunity to make those little tweaks along the way. Rich, what about you? What kind of drove you to focus on the proactively getting reviews and real-time feedback for your organization?
A lot like Aaron, like everything here at Atlas revolves around the candidate experience and making it best absolute experience they can possibly have. We had no data coming back to us whether or not that was truly happening. Extensions and things like that kind of gave you an idea that was happening, but there was no vehicle for that real-time feedback or that data to come back into the organization. And that's when I met Adam for the first time and he started talking about this. The light bulb went off. Like, wait a minute, there's no product like this in any kind of staffing environment that I know of, or any staffing vertical that does what Adam's product does. And so I thought, okay, we need this right away. And the fact that it has caught on and gotten so big does not surprise me whatsoever. I think the industry needed it, quite honestly.
Yeah. And I'm going to drop a quick poll. Just curious for those that are on. I just want you to know, answer. Are you actively getting real-time feedback? Do you have some mechanism in place to do so? So if you just want to jump on and provide your answers, that's great. Aaron, once you start getting this real-time feedback and you start bringing this data in down to your recruiter level, it exposes everything, right? And that can be scary because, as Sarah said, when you're in the outside, everything seems negative, right? The industry reputation, recruiters are this, that, and the other. There's not a lot of positive that you see organically when you just search. So when you take that initiative to open up your organization to that feedback, like how did you implement it, and what has been kind of the cultural change you've seen since doing this across your organizations?
Well, I think, you use an analogy around football before, and I really like to look at sports. We model a lot of our behaviors around sports. Like in a professional sports, there's data around everything. You're exposed to everything. If you're a running back, you know how many yards per carry, you know how many attempts, all of those things, right? And where they're running to. And we want the same type of people to live within our network. We want people who want that visibility and that accountability and that transparency so they can know whether they're doing right or wrong for their customers, right? And so I think this has become so ingrained into our culture. There's monthly meetings, quarterly meetings. They're involved in trainings with Great Recruiters because we want that spirit of embodiment to be about let's create the greatest experience we can for our clients. And let's leverage, and the best experience the best knowledge of that experience is to get reviews, to get real-time feedback from them. And when you can do that, first of all, it gives the ability for the recruiter to know whether they're doing right or wrong by their customer. and it gives them the opportunity to pivot or change if they need to. And it gives that manager and the leader, a framework to know where they need to cultivate, where they need to develop that person even further to, again, advance the mission of delivering great experiences.
Yeah. And Rich, same question. How is this how did you get this ingrained into the culture? And then how have you seen your culture evolve since really focusing on this for so many years?
Yeah, it really, like Aaron said, it really just has become a day-to-day product that we use for that feedback to our recruiters. Personally, you like the 5-star reviews, right? You love the ones like, oh, this Adam is so great and he's the best recruiter ever. I like to see the reviews where they need to fix something, right? Because therein lies, the pandemic changed so many things, and with most recruiters being remote now, managing has become a difficult task. And if you're getting real-time feedback from your clients or from your clinicians or whoever that person might be about the boots on the ground, about the people that are talking to them every day, that feedback is super valuable. Even if it is, this person could get better at this. I think that in and of itself, we've used a lot.
And Sarah, for you, how is Applin kind of adopted this reviews culture?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so for us, I mean, I'll be honest, initially when we rolled it out, not everyone was super excited about kind of the transparency of the reviews and the fact that, the managers get to see them. They get certain reviews. Candidates can flag if they want somebody else to reach out and talk to them about that. So there was kind of some hurdles we had to overcome initially. But once we kind of got past that and people realized, even if it's flagged, often it's good for a team lead to call a candidate and just deliver the same message that the recruiter was delivering. We've been able to save placements that way. It's again, like Rich was saying, it's not a negative thing. It's just a development opportunity. If there's something that comes up, that's great. We all want to be able to grow and improve on what we're doing. And then culturally, we started doing People's Choice Awards. So twice a year, we recognize the recruiter and the account manager with the highest Great Recruiter rating. And that too, that's driven people to want to get more feedback, to want to be able to, be recognized in that way. And honestly, the People's Choice Awards too. I mean, Great Recruiters does their own awards, which everyone loves being recognized for too. But even the People's Choice ones, we see people, how proud they are. They share those on their LinkedIn. They share them with, their candidate community, their client community, because that really is more so than a kind of a revenue goal. Often people are attaching kind of their value based on those awards.
Yeah, no, that's really good. And Rich, you hit on it. Everybody loves the 5-star reviews. We just launched our Q4 top rated recruiters. I had a chance to talk to, I think, 12 recruiters recently. And, everyone said it's like, someone said, I came in, I'm having a bad day, and in my inbox is this glowing review. And for me, I'm personally surprised. Still, I'm amazed at the depth and content that people are providing on that experience. And I think, one of the fears early on is, well, they're going to give me a bad review if they don't place me. And what we find is that more times than not, people are separating the outcome of the job search with the true experience the recruiter is providing. And when you get that 5-star review, it gives you a boost. But how do you handle and manage when the review isn't glowing? Is there as much value in that as there is getting the 5-star review?
There's just as much value in that, and from a learning and training experience too. If you're not watching film of yourself, go back to the sports analogy, you're not getting any better, right? You can listen to yourself in an echo chamber all day long, 5-7 days a week, whatever that might be, and you're never going to get better until someone gives you that feedback. And the 5 stars are great, but the 3-star that you could have followed up faster. You could have, I don't like to text, I'm a phone call person or whatever. You have to use that to get better.
And what's the process if you get a bad review? What's the process at Atlas to handle that?
It all runs through managers. The managers see it first, right? So they can use that as a training exercise for that recruiter or for that compliance person. So it comes in, they read it, they can go back, look at the notes in Bullhorn. They can see exactly what happened during that conversation or during that experience, and then go back to the recruiter. Okay, walk me through what happened here, because this is what your candidate is saying. How can you get better next time?
Yep. And Sarah, what's Applin's approach to kind of managing the negative feedback? Because nobody is perfect. I mean, I always warn people, watch out for anybody that has all 5-star reviews, right? Because there's nothing all 5 stars in this world. As much as we would love to believe that, you're probably missing an important data set. But I'm just curious, how are you guys managing when you do get that negative feedback, and what's the response from the recruiters?
For sure. I mean, I don't think we're managing it any differently than Rich is. You check the system, you make sure everything is as the candidate's presenting it to be. You get the recruiter side and kind of figure out where we can fix that. And like I said, often it's just adding a third voice to that conversation. And everyone just likes to be heard often. So that's often, it's just kind of a venting mechanism, but something we can learn from it. But I think from the recruiter standpoint, when they get a bad review, they never want to get another bad review. So that changes their mindset too, and then they're that much more motivated to spend that extra 5 seconds with the candidate to make sure that they're following up on a timely basis, to make sure they're clear in their communications. Like, all of that has really been, and the positive aspect of getting a negative review is that feeling. You don't want to have that feeling again. You want to get back to the 5-star feeling. Yeah,
I always hate to think of, like, when we roll this out early days, right? Recruiters are like big brothers looking at me, and it's not. It's the voice of your customer helping you to acknowledge where you're doing well and where you have opportunities for improvement. And for me, any recruiter that would be on my team, I want somebody who wants to be better, wants to hurt, doesn't want to hide from that kind of feedback. Aaron, anything to add that talent launch, the group of companies are doing, and how you guys are handling negative feedback, or how that is managed in your organization?
I think to both Sarah and Rich, very similar ways in which we, very similar ways in which we process those types of reviews and how we coach and develop those recruiters. I'd say, we're a very culture-centric company, so we, one of our pillars is active learning. So we want to make sure that our recruiters are very open to wanting to have constructive feedback, that they actually want to be the best version of themselves. And one of our core values is communication, which is to paint pictures to create alignment. A lot of times, the issues that you do see have something to do with communication. We didn't manage expectations well enough. We didn't follow through on something we might have said we were supposed to do. And as a result of that, you might get a bad review. So it just gives us the opportunity in real time to kind of have those discussions and give the recruiter or the client manager the ability to do something about it. Yeah. And so it also helps us move people out of the business faster if they're not willing to want to learn from those reviews and become the best versions of themselves.
And follow up on that, what do you perceive as the impact by not getting that negative feedback? Like, if it didn't exist, the situation still happens. What's the fear if you don't have that feedback coming into you?
A fear is that we can lose a customer. We don't know why. Yeah. Right. And we could be holding on to somebody and not developing them effectively because we don't know that there's a problem.
Right.
Right. And our customers are the best. That's the best feedback you could possibly get.
Right. And I think what we've found, and I'd love to hear from Sarah and Rich on this if they're finding this as well, is that, our clients are reporting a decrease of negative reviews on other third-party sites. And really, I believe it's because we call this being proactive, right? There's one thing about sitting back and being reactive and waiting for a review to come in and then doing risk mitigation of that review, trying to figure out who it is. But when you're proactively asking for that feedback, you're creating that open door. And I think kudos to all of you, because I think that shows the type of organization you are, that you are open for the feedback. You're not claiming to be perfect, but you want an easy way for candidates who don't have a great experience to express that so you can resolve it. And Rich, from your perspective, what is the response when a candidate gets that phone call back? I gave you a bad review. You called me back. Like, how do they respond to that kind of follow-up?
I think at first they think like, oh, I shouldn't have done that. But once they understand how we're using that, the world isn't all sunshine and rainbows, right? I mean, you're going to get punched in the mouth sometimes, whether you like it or not, and how you respond to that and how you respond to that customer, and making sure that, like Aaron said, it does not happen again, that you can learn from this and not replicate that problem over and over and over again. That's how you grow. That's how you get better.
I spoke to a recruiter yesterday and she said, my first review was horrible and this was my first impression. And she's like, I didn't know what to do about it. And she's like, so I called the person up and the end result was she was able to redeploy that person 3 more times. And curious if you're seeing this, Sarah, is that we find that when you have a negative experience, you need to get it off your chest, which is why I think other review sites are littered with negativity because there isn't a vehicle for them to share. They're not being proactively asked. So I need to get it off my chest. When you get it off your chest, though, and somebody steps in to make it better, it almost strengthens that relationship. Do you see that, Sarah?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, we talk about that all the time with clients asking for the business, but on the candidates, it's the same thing. Like, acknowledge that you've made a mistake if that's the case and ask for another opportunity. And that is where you get those redeployments, you get those long-term candidate relationships, and you get those referrals too. I think, even if it's a candidate that you're not able to place, that doesn't mean that they don't have a network of referrals that, you might potentially be able to place. And that's another, I'll spin it for you, Adam, but that's another place that we've seen a lot of success is just, we ask for referrals at different places throughout our process. But with the Great Recruiter platform, we've actually seen a 12% referral rate. So 12% of our reviews provide a referral, which has been also like an amazing kind of sub.
With no added work.
Absolutely, no. And like I said, it's not that we hadn't asked before, but these are people that they thought of in that moment that they were willing to share. So
that's a good kind of switch. I'll get back to you, Sarah, on that. But Aaron, what do you see as the correlation between the review culture and driving reviews? How does that impact increasing your referrals, increasing your candidate callbacks, talent attraction? Have you seen that influence folks at Talent Launch?
Well, I don't have the good data that Sarah has, so I'd love to capture that, and so that's one takeaway I just got right there to go back and see how many referrals we're getting from this in that way. But what I will say is our candidate utilization rate that come from our database and our redeployment rates are very high. In fact, I think this past year we were on a bullhorn panel at a Gauge, and the focus was around our utilization rates and our redeployment rates that they found in our system. And I think, while there's a lot of different things that we're doing, I think the great recruiter experience that we give to that we have with our customers, I think that's part of the reason why we maintain relationships with our candidates and are able to redeploy them. So I think it's great. For when we're calling a customer who's given a bad review, our focus is to make them feel really, really good about it. Thank you so much for doing this. I know it's not easy, but we're trying to get better. We want to be the best that we can possibly be. And I appreciate you helping us figure out how to do that. And so, I think that really diffuses and hopefully empowers and encourages them to keep giving us that feedback throughout their journey with us.
Right. That's good. And Rich, what have you seen as far as a correlation between the reviews you've received and the referrals that follow?
Absolutely. Being a recruiter on the other end of the phone can be a rather faceless job sometimes, right? I mean, it's just there are so many out there doing that job that being able to get that real-time feedback like you're talking about, and then asking for those referrals along the way as you're showing them the value that you provide. If you're not providing them value through the candidate process, there's no reason for them to give you referrals. And much like Sarah, I think we've seen our referrals through the platform go up because of that. Because you ask, 2 or 3 or 4 different times during the process, and it's worked out really, really well.
Rich, what has this done as far as, we talked about one of the things, like everybody's trying to do more with less, right? Everybody's trying to maximize the pipeline for the recruiters. Everybody's trying to fill up their POAs on the traveler side.
Yep.
How has this helped you to maximize the ROI for each of your recruiters?
It is a very personal business. The relationship between the recruiter and the traveler, in the clinician in our case, is a very personal one-on-one relationship. And so to get that feedback, to be able to provide something like that, because we all go here, right? This is the first place we go anytime we need feedback on anything that we do. And now we get it with our recruiters. Our recruiters have that option for their travelers can go and look at that real time, especially when they're cold calling or they're trying to re-engage in the database, any little things like that. And they can go online and they can see those reviews from other people that do the exact same job that they do. It's worth its weight in gold.
That's great. Switching gears a little bit, Sarah, you had mentioned feedback from clients. Can you talk a little bit about, because obviously the name Great Recruiter suggests we're focused on recruiters, but obviously we do much more. And that's really where the platform has grown from just doing recruiter review generation to full experience management. How else are you leveraging Great Recruiters, the real-time feedback in other parts of your organization?
Absolutely. So we have kind of three main job categories. We've got our recruiters, our account managers, and then we still have 360s as well. So we were hearing from the 360s in particular who were accessing the platform from a candidate side, but like we don't know what our clients think. So thankful that Great Recruiter also offers that for our clients. And so similar, like it's been great to be able to get their feedback, actionable feedback that we can, have discussions with, have development opportunities with. And often, I mean, the feedback that we're receiving, although it is positive, then that's okay. So how are we going to build on that?
Right.
So.
And Aaron, what about yourself? What other areas are you guys leveraging Great Recruiters in across the organizations?
Well, I obviously already talked about referrals, but marketing, right? I mean, when we get a referral, a good referral from a client, a company that we're servicing, we want to promote that, right? So we're promoting it across multiple channels, individual social media profiles. We want everybody to know, hey, when we're doing a good job and our clients say that we're doing a good job, we want everybody to know about it. And hopefully that gets us more opportunities to work with new customers. So that's a big way of how we use Great Recruiters.
Rich, same question.
Yeah, I'll take you a step further there. We actually use it in new business development. So when our client managers go out to conferences and we're pitching to hospitals for direct contracts, we use actual quotes from Great Recruiter. And look, don't take it from us. Take it from the people that actually work for us in your hospitals. These people are doing the job every single day in your facilities, and this is how happy they are with us. And we all know that happy employees are good employees. They work better. They that type of thing. So if they're happy with us, that's the first step to making sure they're doing the absolute best job they can at the hospital setting.
And as the CMO, how else are you leveraging? So two halves of the platform. One is around the real-time feedback, the experience management, the operational side, getting feedback down to the desk level. Aaron talked about training and development of those individuals, embedding that into the internal culture. What are you doing though to get all this great review data out there to the world? What are some of the things that you're doing?
Aaron stole my thunder there, right? I mean, it's all about social engagement and getting that, using those quotes, using those individual reviews and highlighting that recruiter or highlighting that facility or whichever one that actually, the review talks about on LinkedIn, on Facebook. Heck, we even got to TikTok with some of these. And it's on the allied side, which is surprising because there's not a whole, a very positive spin on TikTok right now. The allied travelers go to TikTok. They love it there, and they love seeing their peers talking about how good it is at this agency.
Yeah. And Sarah, what about you? What is Applin doing from a marketing standpoint to help drive more awareness that you are doing a great job? Obviously, the reviews support that. How do you get that out to the masses?
Yeah, I mean, ours isn't too different than what we're already hearing, but certainly, I mean, we were just recognized yesterday, I think, as IT and engineering staffing for the second half of 23, both Applin and our subsidiary Growth staff. So it was great to be able to share that through our social media channels. We do more internally than externally, but I'm thinking as my wheels are turning as you're talking about some of these other ideas. But we also we do a monthly e-newsletter internally, and we always include feedback that we're getting from Great Recruiters so that people are getting that recognition internally as well. And then I do know that they include them on their kind of desk side proposals as well. But yeah, lots of great ideas I'm hearing too.
And I'm going to take a few steps back. So Aaron, you said something I wanted to kind of hit on. You said the review data is helping you make better decisions about your team. Can you talk about that a little bit of how you've leveraged that data to help make better decisions about the folks on your team?
Well, I mean, obviously, performance drives the ultimate decision, right? But we also very much believe that experience will drive the outcomes that we're looking for. So these are, opportunities for us to engage with our recruiters and our client managers and making sure that they're given the right experience, do the right thing. When they're not, and if they're not getting better, if they're not improving, after discussions with our leadership teams around how we can develop that from that specific experience that we're training against. If they're not improving, then obviously it gives us the opportunity to move them out quicker. We can, and ultimately the idea is we want people to self-select out as soon as possible. Is this the right gig for you? And we're in the people business all throughout 360 version of people, right? So, you have to create great experiences all around you. And that's not for everybody, right? To have a smile on your face and to give everybody, a great experience at every single aspect of your day. And so this also helps us figure out, for themselves, whether they want to be here or not.
Right.
And I think that's really positive too.
Sarah, any additional thoughts on that?
Nothing specific. Sorry, Adam.
No, it's all right. Rich?
Our world has changed. Like I said before, our world has changed so much. It isn't at the desk level. It isn't about counting calls and things like those. Metrics are important. Like making those calls are important, but using something like Great Recruiters to understand what your recruiters are doing well, what they're not doing well, how they're performing. Are they, if they send reviews, are they getting them back in the first place? And, if they're not, that tells you something as well. So using that data rather than just how many times you dialed the phone that day is how our industry has changed and evolved.
Yeah, I think Aaron said it's bringing together the quantitative data and the qualitative data into one place and having a full picture of each of your recruiters, not just the production output, but the experience. Because in my mind, your recruiters are your biggest marketers, right? They're talking to more people about your brand than anybody else out there. And the experience is critical, because if I have a poor experience with that recruiter, I always say, if you have a poor experience, you blame the company. If you have a great experience, you give accolades to the person. So, being able to mitigate that by having that open door is really important. For many, as we talk about, I want to talk a little bit about how you implement this kind of program and what it was, what the lift was for your organization. Aaron, going to start with you on this one. As you kind of made the decision to switch from that annual type survey to the real-time feedback, what did that look like, and as far as effort for your team to get this up and standing and getting to the point of showing that ROI?
Well, any change management is always a lift, right? It just is, and it has to start at the top. So for me, I believed in moving to you guys. I believed in how we could grow as an organization by having that real time feedback, and so it starts with me. But then we build out a project plan of how we're going to implement this. Operating company by operating company, and then. We believe in this concept of educate, reinforce, adopt, ERA. So it's really about the reinforcement and getting people to buy into to that feedback. It doesn't happen, for us at least, it didn't happen instantly. Like people were reluctant, they weren't completely bought in. But I also believe in the first follower movement. Like once you get somebody who's getting, once some people got good reviews, or really, we as management teams, we want to promote it. And then you start getting other people saying, well, I want that too. And then it starts to take a life of its own over time, but it doesn't happen overnight. If you're going to do it and then expect that within a couple of weeks or a month of going live, that everything's going to change, that's not it. This is a progression, and you have to buy in and believe it. And then ultimately, when you create a culture around it, it becomes part of how we live every day. And we want the negative reviews to learn and grow from. We want the positive reviews to be able to share to everybody else to get people inspired to want to work with us. So,
yeah. What about for you, Sarah? How was getting this implemented into Applin for you?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there definitely was a lot of hesitation. but for us, the biggest wins was the referrals. And I think one of our most change-averse recruiters was able, I will, Adam can correct me on the timeline, but I think it was about 18 months, she booked over $250,000 in revenue based on the referrals that she was receiving.
That was Miss Victoria.
That was Victoria,
yeah.
And so she became, our change champion. And anyone who's hesitant now or any new hires, she's the one that first go like, no, it's worth it. You need the feedback. You'll get the referrals, don't worry. And that really helped to kind of move the dial for us.
And what was your experience, Rich, implementing this through the organization?
I mean, as well as I do, we resisted for a while, right? I didn't think, not from a we're not ready standpoint, is I didn't want to put this additional on top of everything else. And you assured me, nope, it's not going to be like that. That once you do implement it, it will be infectious. Like it will, you get behind it. Like Aaron said, you create a culture around it, and people will buy into it initially. It took 5 or 10 minutes to implement. Nothing. It is, and I have one guy that makes changes on the platform. They have direct lines to David and Adam. Like it's a competition now between our recruiters to get the most, to get every week when that leaderboard comes out from David every Monday. They want to see their name on the top of that list. They want to see that they not only got the reviews, but then they got the referrals too.
Right. And just to make note, our native integration with Bullhorn makes it really simple to automate the review collection process based on a note, a submission, a placement, whether that's a recruiter, somebody on your compliance team, somebody that's mid-assignment. So there's really, there's no lift needed by your recruiters. Is that correct? It's set and forget, it's working. And I think, Sarah, you said it also becomes this catalyst, right? When you know that open door for feedback exists, you always want to make sure that you're putting your best foot forward, even on your worst day. And I think that was part of our strategy is our compass is some simplicity. Things that are not simple are tough to adopt. Things that take too long to implement don't always get the traction that's needed for the adoption. But what I love about the three of you is that we knew leadership was behind it. And I think that's an important thing, is that whatever software it is, if you have a platform that's doing something, leadership needs to be behind it and needs to be able to articulate how that investment, how that initiative is going to help impact the overall organization and each individual. So I'd love to hear that you guys found that to be an easy process. Obviously, overcoming the doubt when you're not getting feedback. I think as Victoria experienced, the pros far outweigh the cons, and you're never going to be perfect, but the value of getting that feedback can be used in so many different ways. How do you, Sarah, I'm putting ourselves on the spot, right? Everybody talks about, and this is all about ROI. How do you measure the ROI of what Great Recruiters is doing for your organization?
Yeah, I mean, the easy way, obviously, is when you look at the referrals and the placed referrals. That's the one that you can take to the CFO and he's happy with. But really, I mean, the ROI, it's hard to measure because it goes across the organization in terms of, like Aaron mentioned, there might be recruiters that know that it's not for them. They've left early. Like, that's great. We didn't have to, keep an underperforming recruiter who wasn't willing to kind of adapt and change. And then for our other recruiters, I mean, we've saved placements, the redeployments. Like, there's been so many different ways that it's really touched the organization, not to mention, the online brand reputation, which is our original goal, and just kind of improving our Google ratings. And I mean, that it's hard to quantify, but I'm positive that, what do we not look up online before doing business with now, right? So you want to look up and make sure it's a legitimate company and that they've got good reviews. And then also that they haven't paid for the reviews. Like, it's nice to see that, there are legitimate comments coming from people that we've worked with. So,
well, and there you go. These reviews are not incentivized at all. These are reviews that are being provided by people who are making the choice to want to provide feedback on that individual, which is great. On that, Aaron, same question for you. Oop, I think we hit mute.
Muted.
Sorry about that. Yeah, we don't have defined ROI metrics that we're tracking against outside of referrals that are coming from the program. But as I said at the beginning, like our mission is to deliver amazing experiences that drive great results, and so I think we look at suppliers and partners that give us tools that enable us to provide the best experience we can all the time. And because we do believe that's going to drive the outcomes over time, and that's going to drive our growth. And so I look at Great Recruiters as that supporting tool that just, we know that feedback and the recognition that we can have and the marketing that we can have all have a part to play in our ability to grow and scale each of our businesses. And so I do think just knowing what it does and what we can learn from it and how we can grow from it is the value that we see and why we use it.
Yeah. And Rich, you introduced me to a new term, and I loved it. I said, how do you measure the ROI of Great Recruiters? We were sitting in a conference room with you and Steve, and Steve was like, I want to know what the ROI is. And you brought up ROA. Can you talk a little bit about what ROA is?
Yeah, return on awareness. I have very healthy friction with both my partner, Steve Ryan, and our CFO. And healthy friction, right? Because they want to see, they're both numbers guys, and they want to see the actual value coming back. And with a lot of things in a marketing department, that's very hard to track. It gets very nebulous at some point. Here's what I can tell you though. For a product like Great Recruiters, we can go back and look, okay, at our board right now, who are our top 10 recruiters from a headcount or from a revenue standpoint? Every one of them is Great Recruiter certified. Every one of them is. And so there it is. There's your correlation right there. They're on the top, not because of that, but because we have products like that feed into them, that help them out along the way. I just want their eyeballs, right? I just need them to see the product and little things like Great Recruiters helps us a lot, helps us get there.
Yeah. From an ROA perspective, I think that awareness is the biggest thing, is taking that information and being able to help other people be aware that you're doing a great job, because there's so many recruiters to choose from. Mm-hmm. It's like, from a candidate perspective, the reason this was built, because I wanted candidates to know that they're working with a great recruiter, they're working with somebody who's GR certified, that they can have peace of mind that they're going to be genuine, responsive, and experienced advisor and transparent. And if they're not, you have an easy way to tell them. And, put it here, our product doesn't make these changes. Our product facilitates it and makes it really simple to collect the information, but it's driven by leadership. It's driven by what you do with the feedback. We were just built to make it really easy for people to be able to collect that feedback, take action, measure that in your dashboard and the results, and promote it on your website, across social, and overall the internet. Great Recruiters, though, by no means is the hero here. It's the people in your organizations that really make it great. We're just trying to help the world know that they're doing a great job.
I'll tell you, if you don't believe it, Adam, and this is a very easy way to test this, go open up a Chrome browser, incognito, and then search your recruiter's name with recruiter, right? So it's Adam Conrad, recruiter. And if you're not Great Recruiter certified, all you're going to get on page 1 of Google is maybe their LinkedIn profile that they probably haven't kept up.
Yeah.
If they are, one of the very first hits is going to be their Great Recruiter profile, right? And it'll be right there. And they page 1 of Google. That's all the more that one person needs to take that next step, to take that contract with you.
Yep. Well, we're getting close on time. I've got one follow-up question for each of you. Each of you, I know, had a different business purpose for why you bought Great Recruiters. Sarah, you said we wanted to improve our online reputation, our Google reviews. Aaron, you wanted to go from, getting that feedback at the end of the year. You wanted it now. Rich, you wanted to help drive the marketing for your team. So starting with Sarah, what was the biggest surprise from using Great Recruiters that just wasn't on your radar when you originally joined?
For sure, the referrals for us. Because it wasn't, again, it's something that we thought we were asking. We thought we were doing a good job of getting referrals, but obviously we were leaving money on the table. So just asking that one more time.
Awesome. And Aaron, for you, what was the biggest surprise kind of since implementing Great Recruiters?
Oh, along with Sarah, referrals. But I actually like, and you showed me this when I saw you last. I think it was in Vegas, and I think we're rolling it out. Is having the opportunity to have jobs posted,
Yeah.
and have it tied to that recruiter. Like we're really excited about that because
Yeah.
I do believe, and I've talked to you about this before, that technology is very disruptive to our industry, and it's actually allowing. I think over time, it's going to allow for the best recruiters to shine and really be a part of that journey at certain moments of that process. So I think what you're doing is also helping lift up the recruiters who are going to be part of the future state of this industry.
Yeah. Giving them, and I love you brought up the jobs piece. I wasn't even consider bringing that, but yeah, we new piece we implemented is, you go to market with your recruiter profile. It's, hey, here's who I am. This is what I like to do. Here's what people think about working with me, and here are the openings that I have. I mean, we're serving everything up to those candidates, being fully transparent, which we hear all the time is increasing the callbacks and the connection rates by up to 50%. Rich, finalize with you. What was the biggest surprise that you kind of learned by using Great Recruiters?
It was exactly what Aaron said right there. Increased awareness, increased visibility. I knew what it could do. I wasn't aware of the volume that it would bring to that. The referrals are great, right? That what it brings to an organization from that standpoint is awesome. But then the eyeballs on your recruiters to see how well they're really doing real time from the outside world, having clinicians be able to see that from the outside world. We knew our recruiters were great. That's why we hired them, right? That's why they're here. Now everybody can see it. And it shined a light brighter than we possibly thought it could.
Awesome. Well, hey, we are up on time. I told you 45 minutes was going to fly by. I really appreciate Sarah, Aaron, Rich joining me today. Great Recruiters is just a vehicle. It's a platform. It was built for this. There's other ways to do it. We just make it really simple. If you're looking for a solution to help you drive more reviews down to the desk level, help improve your online reputation, increase your referrals, help you with training and development and growth of your team, we'd love to talk to you, and you can reach out to us at greatrecruiters.com. If you don't believe everything that's been said, feel free to reach out to Rich, Aaron, and Sarah directly. I'm sure they'd be happy to share more of their experience. But once again, thank you all for joining today, and I hope everyone got a little bit of value, started getting the thoughts flowing, and wish everybody the best here in 2024. Cheers.